So welcome back to Fight Me. This is episode 2. I'm Aryan Jain, where I'm going to fight my friend and mentor Gaurav Jain,
Hi, not my son.
not my dad. And so now we're back today with some very exciting films, some new films that have just released. And without any delay, let's just jump straight into it. The first film we're going to talk about today is Michael.
Yes.
And
We saw last night.
we saw last time we saw it together because we're twisty like that. But so I'm going to start this with the most obvious question that probably everybody's thinking, because I know I was thinking: is Michael Jackson a pedophile, Gaurav Jain?
I don't know. Everything I've read and seen and heard when I was, say, 10 years ago, I would have thought he was, because that's how it was being portrayed.
Yeah.
But then I obviously read some of the court transcripts, some of the stuff that's happened since then. It just feels like there's a lot more to it and it's not a very straight answer. But nonetheless, the film does not address it.
The film does not address it, yeah.
Because it's been produced by his brothers, by his estate, by his
Cousin, his manager,
his
yeah.
nephew is
Jafar Jackson.
Jafar Jackson's
Yeah.
playing Michael Jackson. So obviously there is no chance of any honesty
Correct.
in the film.
But where do you stand? Do you think he's a pedophile? What does your heart tell you?
My heart doesn't tell me shit. I don't think about Michael Jackson at all.
Okay.
But I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So I think I've also same, I've seen a lot of discourse where people are like, oh, he is a pedophile. And obviously Surviving Neverland Ranch is a very heartbreaking documentary. It's actually really depressing and really impactful. So, it's like, nobody knows. It's like a 50-50 split. A lot of people are saying that, oh, those things have been debunked, and apparently, it's been proven that the people that accused him are lying. But obviously, there's still a lot of people that say that, that's just the internet, that's just people talking shit, and that he is a pedophile. But okay, having said all of that,
Considering this is a film podcast.
yeah, let's come back to the film itself.
Yes.
So okay, I'll go first.
Yes.
I think that the movie, so it was a very enjoyable movie. If you like Michael Jackson and his music, then you love the film. They've recreated a lot of his iconic music videos like Thriller, like Beat It, like Billie Jean.
Fantastically, yeah.
Yeah, and really well done. And so if you like his music, I think you like the movie because it's like a musical in that sense. But all in all, I'd say the film was like a good highlight reel that basically just showed you, this is Michael Jackson, this is where he began, and he became a big star.
Sure.
They don't get into any sort of depth.
Yeah.
They don't, there's nothing insightful in the film that if you don't already know his journey, you'll find out something new by watching the movie.
Surprising. I mean, you'd think Antoine Fuqua would do a better job considering his sort of past track record, right?
Yeah. But I guess there's no way to make this film
there isn't.
via, if you get into addressing the fact that, was he a pedophile, then you can't make the film.
I mean, that's even further away. They don't even address the relationship with his brothers.
Correct.
They're just there. They're older. He's this childlike character, and that's it. There's hardly any individual interactions with any of his siblings.
Correct.
It's always the 4 of them or 5 of them together.
Yeah, and they wrote out his sister Janet Jackson has been completely.
I think she asked for it.
Okay,
she
is that
asked
the
for her
case?
being written out or something like that.
I mean, I would understand that. But talking about Jafar Jackson, what a performance.
Job, yeah.
I would say
I
so.
think it's his first film.
Yeah, I think so too. And I went back and I saw the Motown clip, the Billie Jean clip where he does the moonwalk, and I was like, dude, I felt like I just saw Michael Jackson and I came.
It's fantastic.
The nuances, the look, the performance, the voice, the dance, everything. Jafar Jackson has done a phenomenal job. And I would just say it would be sad to see that, if his performance gets undershadowed because of the reception the film is getting.
Yeah, I think it's quite popular. I think it's going to have a big opening. Also, shout out to Coleman Domingo, who is his father. My
Really
God,
good job.
He does an awesome
Amazing,
job.
yeah.
He's so easy to dislike.
Yeah.
Because it's just sort of overbearing, slightly violent.
And you can't tell it's Coleman Domingo.
You can't.
Yeah.
We
couldn't tell at all.
We couldn't
Yeah.
tell.
We couldn't tell at all.
We saw the credits.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's a one-note film. There is absolutely no depth of any kind. You don't really learn anything about Michael except, his father was repressing him and he wanted to break away.
Correct.
And he did so, and that's it. It's very Peter Pan-like in that sense. It follows that sort of dynamic in the story. It's not entertaining in that sense. Like cinematically, is no fun to watch. But like you said, fantastic music, very, very well made, great performances.
It's a montage.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's a giant montage.
It's a giant montage of just cherry-picked moments of his life. And I mean, I hope he's not a pedophile.
But that's also going to happen with any story regarding any real person, right? Like you'll only get montage because lives are long, things are complicated.
No, and honestly, to expect a biography to critique the personality is also a little
I was also thinking about this
unrealistic.
on the way over here, that it could easily be like, oh, you go up until, so he's from like when he's Jackson 5 to bad. And then, life post-bed, which is black or white, dangerous, all the drug problems and things like that, which they do sort of touch upon with the Demerol, with painkillers and stuff like that when he gets burned. Also, I didn't realize how badly he got burnt, man.
Oh, yeah.
I've always heard since I was a kid that he got burned, his hair caught fire, but I mean, that looked insane.
Yeah, and the whole hospital sequence and, the fact that he had to spend a lot of time there and his dad was still pressuring him to go on tour and all.
Yeah.
So there were some interesting bits in there. Yeah, I would just say that, it's an entertaining film. The most interesting thing also to me about the film is that the opinions are split. All the critics are calling the film straight up dog shit.
Yeah.
I just read this BBC article. It's like really bad. And they're also shitting on Jafar Jackson.
Yeah.
But the audience is all for the film. And it's not surprising because, when
it was full yesterday,
it was full, people were clapping, they were chatting.
Yeah,
the woman next to me was like, oh my God, fuck. Like she was like, on seventh heaven.
Yeah.
But so it's going to be interesting to see what happens to the film. I know it's got a record-breaking opening. It's already crossed Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And
the other thing I just want to mention that is that people forget how big Michael Jackson was.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's kind of hard for people to know, remember.
No, I think ever since Surviving Neverland Ranch came out,
I mean,
the opinion was, was over.
Further, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, he was a huge figure.
He was.
I think Thriller sold some 60 million copies or something like that, Like,
insane numbers.
By comparison, Bad was considered a flop because it only sold about 30 or 40 million.
Wow.
By comparison, that's a monster, right? And I think it's like how big Taylor Swift is today. I think that's like bigger. I would say Michael Jackson is even bigger than that globally. And people get
all the Swifties out there. How do you feel about that?
Like, don't come for us. But I know nothing about Taylor Swift. And
no, but you're right. He was the king of pop. Yeah. Now it would be sad. Like, I mean, look, he's dead now. It doesn't matter. But if he was a pedophile, terrible. If he wasn't, great. Either way, watch the film.
Yeah,
enjoyable
absolutely. Film. It's worth watching. Whether you
like him, you don't like him.
Yeah, whether it's cinematically interesting or not, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You can take your kids. It's a safe watch as well. Kids can go in and watch. Right? It's not really.
No, yeah, it's not really. Yeah, you
I
can.
don't think he was being beaten more than Indian kids take a beating.
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of child beating in there, so all Indians can probably relate to that.
He gets belted a few times. I think Indians are familiar with that.
All in good spirit, just a casual.
Although to be fair, my parents didn't beat me, so just putting that out there.
Okay, so that's Michael. Let's quickly move on to the second one. So the second one is actually a show that we're going to talk about, and Beef Season 2.
Can we say beef in India?
Oh, yeah, maybe we have to bleep that out, but we'll put a caption somewhere here or there.
Yes. Beef on Netflix.
Beef on Netflix. Beef Season 2. Yeah, Season 2.
Yeah. What do you think?
So I gotta be straight. I was in awe of every single episode, of every single frame. Incredible performances by both the leads and by Charles Melton, everybody, the entire cast.
All of them.
And so well shot. The music went so well with the cinematography. There was like a pause in sort of every moment, but nothing felt slow.
Yeah.
You start the show, you're in the story, you're at the beef, and then you're at the escalation. And before you know it, the season is over.
Yeah. And it's full length, right? Like as in when you say slow, it just when it's 45 minutes, it feels like a good 45 minutes. Like lots is happening.
Yeah.
But I also thought, and we were discussing this yesterday, when it reminded me of a White Lotus in a way. But I think it's probably because the setting is like a country club in California. It's sunny, it's bright. There's all these other ancillary members / characters that keep flitting in and out. So it has that White Lotus quality to it. And just the pacing is also very similar. So it does feel like a lost season of White Lotus. But I thought it's very well written. You have these two couples, they're on either side of where their relationships would be. I mean, two of them are young in their beginning. The other two are obviously past it and they're struggling.
Yeah.
And then they all sort of get together, caught up, obviously beefing with each other, then all of them beefing with somebody else. And it just escalates to a level which is really weird and sort of you don't see it coming.
No, and the dynamics shift so fluidly throughout. And I think, even in season 1, you could see that.
But the odd thing with season 1 and 2, season 1 is just those two people.
Yeah, correct.
This has got so many more people involved, right? Which is why I said it feels like a bit White Lotus-y.
When the world feels more connected and congruent.
Yeah, and so many more people.
I was not a big fan of season 1. I did like it. I didn't really like it. Didn't stick with me, and I didn't think it was that.
I enjoyed that. I remember we talked about it earlier as well.
I liked the premise. I didn't like what they did with it. But season 2, through and through, I mean, it felt inspired. Like it felt like it came from a place of like abject realism, but not to the point where you're stuck in some sort of like mundane situation in anybody's life. They take that mundanity and they make it dramatic and they make it spectacular.
It also moves, right? It doesn't just cut to things and
No, I think that-
progression, right?
no,
Things are happening and they move through these sort of emotions, move through these things that are happening, and
Correct.
it's real.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's very realistic. You can see things that are happening, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The relationships the characters have with each other, with other people in their lives, you know, and there's so much happening. Like no one person is one way. Like say, if you look at Michael, we were just talking about earlier, and it's just a one-note film. Everybody's one character.
That's
one
true. Beef
character.
is like the exact opposite of that.
So much like every person, somebody sacrificed something, somebody's going through something. All of them have like these 3, 4, 5, 6 different aspects of their lives.
You know, it's so easy in a show like Beef with a premise like this to make your characters tokenistic, to make them feel like, you know, they're cardboard cutouts or they're cliches of like real people or real situations. But I think the creator of the show is so adept at making people feel full and like people, and not just what, you know, you expect from like a TV show. And look, ultimately the beats are obviously going to be that of what you would expect from like a drama of this sort, but that doesn't take away from any of the writing or the you know, the visual or the performance. And I really feel like a lot of credit goes to the music and the camera work, because to live in those moments in that way that feels authentic but still captivating enough is extremely tough and takes a lot of intention.
And you also don't use the music to sort of oversell or undersell what's happening, right? Like it is what it is, and the music's just there.
Correct.
Which is I think is very, very verite, very realistic in the way it is filmed. So
no, and it's so funny and like in like a endearing
which
way.
is kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's all sad. I don't think it's a happy show at all.
All sad and it's all funny, and
It's very dry.
yeah,
which
and
I like.
my favorite was honestly Charles Melton, because I've seen him in Riverdale before this, and to play Reggie Miller, right? Yeah, to play Reggie and then come and play, I forgot the character's name, but to play this sort of like employee of a country club and do it in such a, you know, be the sweet person and do it so well.
The only one who's like trying to be good.
Dude, he's like, he went from hunk to being like the nice sweet boy.
But you know how it ends, right? Like, what did you think of the ending? Like, did you see it? I mean, no spoilers here, but
so
what did you think?
I honestly, even if at some level I did see it coming, I didn't feel it.
I didn't see it coming.
I don't think I saw it coming either. And
I thought that they would just sort of learn their lessons and move on with their lives.
Yeah.
But, I guess the tragedy is that you learn your lessons, but you still continue making the mistakes.
no, and I think why the ending was also was also unpredictable was because it came at the right time. It ended where it had to end, where the tension was still tight.
Yeah,
There was not a moment that went on for too long in this season at all. And I think the structure was like impeccable.
and also had like a whole element of the last episode's like a thriller.
Correct.
You know, it's like a heist
it is.
thriller. Like all.
Well,
that
it goes to
nonsense.
Korea and, you know, like,
They end up in Korea. They're running away from things and you know escaping from things. It was fun.
no, really good writing, really well made. Okay, so that's Beef, season 2. Now let's talk about Euphoria.
Yes.
And so why don't you go first? What do you think?
Look, I'm not a big fan of the show. Teen angst is not my thing. It's been a
Probably.
long time since I've had teen angst, right?
Probably like 50, 60, 70 years maybe, like,
Sure.
yeah.
I just have really good skincare.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, but I just don't get it. Like you know, it's about angst, it's about identity, it's about all these pressures these kids face, and it's fine.
Correct.
But power, as far as you know it, you know, I enjoyed Euphoria when their teen lives meet externals, like adults who are really messed up people.
Correct.
And that's when you really figure like how messed up things are or how messed up lives are, and that you're really not quite old enough to sort of
Correct.
deal with real issues.
Yeah.
And then now, I think if you see the episodes.
You're in a vulnerable position
Yes,
always.
you realize how even this, you can be the jock, you can be the rich kid's son, you can be beautiful, you can have all this power, but it's power only in that sort of small setting. You're a
Correct.
small fish in a small pond.
Right.
Once you get out is when you see the real world for what it is. And that's kind of what's happening with these guys now.
Yeah.
That's why it's a little bit interesting to me that they're out in the real world and they're having to deal with real issues and real things. But now will they regress into their old roles and their old dynamics of their relationships? Or progress is what we'll see. My guess is they don't progress at all. It only gets worse.
Correct.
But also, I just think it's a little bit old now. Like, I think it's very aesthetic. Like the thing about Euphoria is very aesthetically shot. and that's kind of getting.
But you know
it's a little
what?
boring. After
You know
a while.
what? Honestly, like I don't think season 3 has that aesthetic appeal that season 1 began with.
No, I mean, like, it's just aesthetic. Like, it's beautiful to look at. I'm not saying
Oh, sure. Yeah, it is.
it's like what's that, Idol, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what it was?
The Idol, yeah. With the
It
weekend.
looks fantastic. It's just freaking soulless.
Yeah.
You know, after I mean, they could have done so much with it. They did nothing with it.
No, so I think, I think what's happened here is that Sam Levinson's
Yeah.
entire
Shtick.
his entire thing, his entire
Yeah.
shtick is this sort of edgy, angsty sort of thing.
Yes.
And
They
I would say
presented it beautifully.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
and
mean?
here's what I'll say. I'll say that season 1 did that beautifully. Like when I saw season 1,
Sure.
I was like, okay, this is like so not offensive, but it's so out there. It's such an edgy show. It's such an edgy take. It's like always sort of being controversial in that sense.
Yeah.
And that worked really well for season 1. I was constantly like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is messed up. This is crazy. How can this happen? But as the show progressed, I think that has been lost. And I also feel like the thing is that that sort of thing doesn't play so well in today's cultural climate anymore, especially there
Okay.
in LA. That's what I feel. I feel like people are done with Sam Levinson also. There's a lot of talk about
I think
cast
that's-
members
yeah, I think
upset with him.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the sense I've been given that.
I mean, I don't know what he's done. I don't know exactly, what
shit's
kind of
gone
guy he is.
somewhere,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it seems to me that his entire perspective, his cinematic perspective, is kind of reached this saturation point in terms of cultural context. So I
sure.
feel like he can't do what he did with season 1 and season 3, and that is the tragedy.
I just
That's
don't
what
see, I mean, I think you have a bunch of these shows and films which kind of signify the times that they're in, right?
Yeah.
Early 80s is like Fast Times at Ridgemont High with Cameron Crowe writing, and you move on to say the OC or something like that, or Glee, that instance, right? So there are all these shows and things that stand up for their times.
Yeah.
To an extent, and I think the fact that Euphoria is about these messed up, glossy lives
Yeah.
reflects just the worldview of the people today. It's aesthetics over everything, and sadly, that's what's kind of that's what cinema today is largely as well. It's all good-looking shit.
No, and fair enough. I'm saying, be that as it may, when we talk about season 3, I feel like, what you said about their lives mixing with the real world. I feel like
Oh, there's more of that this season.
no, yeah, that is happening,
yeah.
and that is potentially interesting. But I don't think the way it's begun is very interesting. And I also feel like, there's this slowing down that has happened in this season of pace. And again, my entire thesis is that the reason why Euphoria was, people said that, it sort of reanalyzed the LA suburban community, and it sort of like rewrote like culture when it came out season 1. It did a lot for shows and films made then. I don't think season 3, season 3 is so far away from that promise. Like what made season 1 so iconic is completely lost
I think
in the
it's also
seasons
like
preceding.
a while ago. I think it's the way I see it is the characters move, their lives move on. Doesn't always move on to better things. You know what I mean? I think
But then you end the show.
I think they've ended the show. This is the
Yeah.
final season anyway. I don't think they're going further.
It feels like
They've all
episode
also
1,
they've
it
all
should
also
have ended
become-
like season 3, episode 1 should have.
I think they've also
Stop
become,
there.
Yeah, it's like a coda. Like, okay, you see where these guys are. Maybe it's a 2-hour movie. You don't have to do a
I
whole
don't know.
season.
I feel like there's like an unnecessary sort of slowing down of pace and like a patient sort of gaze that's come, and maybe it's to do with the realistic sort of
I
theme.
think the way I see it,
in
is
it,
that,
but-
these guys live this life in this box. The box is kind of open. You're living the real world in real life, and you're really sort of being hit by all these real adult issues and stuff, and they're genuinely like powerless. They're still
but
hanging on to their teen lives or whatever.
it seems like a very weird, tropey, powerless thing. Because okay, let's talk about a specific thing, right? Sydney Sweeney's character.
Yes.
I'm saying, okay, I can see that, spoiler alert, but I can see the humor in a woman who wants to do OnlyFans but doesn't believe it's porn. But I'm saying I can't. Is that like, she seems so silly? Like, I'm saying, okay, even if her character isn't supposed to be the brightest in the show, in season 1, she still had a lot more depth and she was still a real person. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything that they did in season 1, they took tropes in season 1, they took cliches in season 1, but they gave it depth and realism, and they treated them like people. They're not treating them like people anymore.
Look at these guys now. They just haven't progressed. That's
No, but
probably
I think
why
the
it feels like
writer, I think the creator of the show hasn't
Yeah,
progressed.
maybe.
I think the characters could have progressed, and I'm saying you could have done the same thing in season 3, but just done it better, in my opinion. And I feel like what's going to happen with this show and what has happened with the show has a lot to do with what has happened in Sam Levinson's life. And I think that is why the show has suffered.
I don't know how much. Maybe gonna get out and Google.
Yeah, but even like, even like the death of Angus Cloud and things like that, he's spoken a lot about those things, and you can tell you can see the deterioration of the creator from season 1 to season 3, and that's my big problem with Euphoria, because season 1 was truly standout.
Sure. Fair.
But yeah.
I mean, stand out to people of a certain age. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just a child.
yeah,
but,
you are a child,
yeah.
definitely. It wasn't very interesting to me, but I watched it because it looked interesting.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, so now let's move on to the last thing that we're going to discuss in today's episode, which is The Boys.
yes.
Take it away.
I love the show. It's on, the final season's on. I think we're 5 episodes in, maybe 3 more to go, and it's going to finally end. And I love it. I think people should watch it. It's a great sort of way to see, what would happen, because we're brought up with so much superhero culture. What happens if superheroes aren't heroic?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What if they aren't? And then what happens then? And Watchmen does a very good sort of take on all of this, but they do it in a very different way. This is much more in your face, cheeky. It's
I
humorous.
think Watchmen is also more pulpy, more stylized.
It's also very serious.
Yeah,
It's sort of, the aspects there, sort of the relationships, the metaphysics, and all of those things. And they take it much more seriously. These guys are much more accessible. It's much more fun. It's not such a discussion on heroism or the lack thereof. It's just like people against the other trying to kill each other, and
Correct.
I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 episodes, but I think it's a great show. I think people should watch it if you haven't already, and because it's going to end soon. And it does raise questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you look up to people, and then the reality of it is always very, very different.
No, I think it's a great analogy for what power does to you.
Absolutely.
And
Corrupts
that's,
is
and
what it does.
I think that's also a very current thing, because a lot of power, a lot of powerful people abusing their power.
Yeah.
And
We're not naming names.
yeah, not naming names.
Naming names.
But
If the shoe fits.
if the shoe fits, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great, yeah, it's definitely a great analogy, and it's a very current of our times. But personally, I could never get too into The Boys, because I enjoyed the premise.
All the boys, is that?
I mean, that's also, yeah, definitely,
probably.
That's how I don't swing that way, but essentially, it always felt a bit too much like, I mean, I don't want to ruin the fantasy of a superhero in my head.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm clinging on to, personally. Like, I rewatched Avengers Endgame
If you want to watch something, another interesting take on the whole thing, I think there's a Superman film where he's born in Russia.
Okay.
It's animated. I think
Okay,
it's the Red Sun or something like that. I can't remember what it's called.
No, there is a Superman film where he's evil.
Film. Well,
Have you
I
seen
don't know
that
about
one?
But this one is where he's born in Russia. So he's a Russian superhero. He's not American.
Oh,
And then he's facing the Americans. So it's a very interesting take on all that.
okay.
Very cool. It's worth watching. It's on Amazon, I think, or Netflix. Check it out.
Wow, Russian superhero so odd. Like, is that
and
even
Superman
legal
is
in
a
Russia?
Just a very different take on it. So I think freaking comics do such a good job of just storytelling. It's just sad that when they pick up these films to make based on comic books, they just pick the worst fucking films.
Yeah, that's true.
Or the worst fucking comics.
But okay, so I think that's
That's
the
a short
episode
and
for
sweet
today.
episode today.
And if you disagree with us, then fight us, fight me, fight him.
Fight him.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Fight me!
Bye.